Hey, I'm Bradley Williams, owner of Buckhaven Land Solutions, Forestry and Wildlife Management, and this video is documenting the process of taking a completely unmanaged property that's been in our family for a long time and showing how we've implemented some management practices in order to transform this property into a better wildlife habitat. Some things that we've done on this property, mainly up to this point, is timber thinning, and on a clear cut that we've done on another portion of the property, we implemented prescribed fire and reforestation with a longleaf pine. On this site, we still have a few more things to do to get done before we're finished, but we wanted to document up to this point in the process.
So this is what these timber stands looked like prior to the commercial timber harvest. And even though there's a lot of green in here, there's really not a lot of food and cover value within these stands for wildlife. Many species of wildlife rely on a herbaceous component to be in the forest stands to make a living. For example, a white-tailed deer, their diet most of the year consists of broadleaf forbs and browse from woody stem plants such as hardwood sprouts, blackberry, greenbrier, and other species like that. And as the camera pans here, you can see that these herbaceous species that a lot of these wildlife species need to survive are missing completely from this understory. In this next little segment in this video is almost the exact same spot where I'm standing where this video ends, just to give you a point of reference on the amount of change that we were able to effect on this site.
Okay, so in the stand that you see behind me, the target in this stand was to thin it down to between a 40 and 50 basal area. Some spots it's a little bit thicker than that, some spots it's a little bit thinner, but the primary target for this area is going to be focusing on getting a lot of sunlight to the ground, producing a lot of forage and cover, and implementing prescribed fire on a regular interval. We actually have not introduced prescribed fire into the stand yet. This is just what's responded from just getting sunlight on the ground from the timber harvest. We still got to put some fire breaks on this site. We've still got to clean up a little bit of the logging debris, pile it up to burn it when we do our prescribed burn. But we're planning on doing that this late dormant season, March, early April, and we should get a lot more response from the seed bank once we introduce the prescribed fire as well.
So what you're seeing in this video is the same area just right across the fire break from the first video showing the pre-timber harvest conditions, and this is showing the conditions post-timber harvest, one growing season after the timber harvest was completed. We still haven't implemented prescribed fire on the site like we said before, but when we do implement that prescribed fire, it's going to remove that leaf litter and promote a thicker herbaceous understory that's going to provide a high quality forage and cover for various species of wildlife. As the camera pans in just a second, you'll see an area that's been clear cut. There's still some logging slash in that area that we've got to go and burn the piles off and come back and stump it and get it ready. But we're going to plant a supplemental food plot in that area. So as you can see, just from timber thinning, getting more sunlight on the ground, clear cutting an area, we've opened up the opportunity for a lot more forage and cover in these stands.
Okay, so one thing I want to highlight in this little section is the commitment you have to have once you start a project to following through and maintaining the response that you get after the initial process. On this skid trail here, where you had a little bit more compacted soil, we've primarily got a response of Sericea lespedeza and a few other vine species in here. Thankfully, you know, we found this Sericea site, and we still have time to come in this fall during the growing season and do a herbicide application on this to try to control it. But as you can see, Sericea has the ability to pretty quickly smother out a lot of the natives in that seed bank. Sericea is also a very prolific reseeder. It produces literally a ton of seed per acre. And so if we don't do anything to manage this, it can very quickly spread and become a real problem. So our goal is to treat this this growing season as it's beginning to flower. If we don't get to it this growing season, we need to really make sure that we come in after we implement prescribed fire and very closely watch for a response of Sericea and treat that immediately. But we're really planning on getting this taken care of this fall. But anyhow, the point to this being is make sure when you're implementing any kind of timber thinning, especially if you're an absentee landowner, that you get back out to that property towards the end of that growing season and take inventory of what response you had from your seed bank, so you can formulate a management plan going forward if you run across any invasive species. Thank you guys for watching part 1 in our upland areas. Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to be talking about our oak woodlands. And as always, let creation point you toward the Creator. He wants to have a relationship with you through Jesus Christ. And if you have any questions about anything in this video, we'd be more than happy to talk with you. Give us a call or look us up at buckhavenlandsolutions.com. Stay tuned for part 2.